Hello everyone, welcome to Nurse Bestie Explains. Today we will see the topic of budgeting in nursing management. Very important topic from the exam point of view. Budgeting is one of the very important responsibility of nurse managers. Coming to the introduction, budgeting is the systematic process of estimating income and expenses. Okay, estimating. It is a systematic process of estimating the income, how much we are earning, and expenses, how much spending over a specific period, for a period of 1 year or 6 months, like that, estimating the income and expenses over a specific period. It ensures efficient allocation of resources. Why this budgeting is done, why it is planned, how much income is there, how much we are spending, because it ensures efficient allocation of resources. So department wise you can allocate the budget, you can fund the whatever income you have, and also there will be financial control and cost effectiveness. For this, budgeting is very important. In nursing services, budgeting is vital for planning, managing supplies, staffing, and delivering quality patient care. Coming to our nursing services, budgeting is very important, vital for planning, to plan the organization, what services it has to provide, and also managing supplies, what supplies required to provide nursing care to the patients. Like it starts with cotton, basic cotton, gauze, equipment required, instruments, injections, drugs, cots, mattress, linen, everything which is used in the hospitals. It comes under supplies. How to manage, how much we have to purchase the supplies, how to maintain the supplies, and also staffing for recruitment also. Okay, to take new staff members we need to have a budget. And delivering quality patient care, to deliver quality patient care also, budgeting plays very important role. Coming to the definition of budget, budgeting is a financial plan. It is called as financial plan that includes estimated expenses as well as income for a period of time. So it is a financial plan that includes estimated expenses as well as income for a period of time. Budgeting is an operational plan for a definite period. Okay, it is for a definite period we will plan the budget. For example, 1 year. A state or country's budget will be planned for 1 year period of time. Every year in the month of February, March, our budget will be released by the finance minister. Same way, for a period of time, definite period of time, budget planning has to be done, usually a year, expressed in financial terms and based on expected out income, or how much income you are expecting in 1 year, how much you will be able to spend for the services. So that calculation, that planning is called as budgeting according to nursing path. Budgeting is the process of developing budgets and applying them. So developing the budget, allocating the budget to each and every department and applying them according to your plan, apply them as a means of planning and controlling the activities of an enterprise. In an organization, if you are running a big hospital, okay, 500 bedded or 1000 bedded hospital, budget plan will include how much income you will get in 1 year, how much you have to spend for each department, which includes planning, controlling, and also the activities of an enterprise. It all control the activities of an expert enterprise according to Terry. These are the definitions of budgeting. Next, concepts of budgeting. In that, purposes of budgeting. What are the purposes of budgeting? Why we have to do this budgeting in nursing management? Budgeting helps in allocating resources. Budget will help in allocating resources by ensuring money is used where most needed. Okay. If you plan the budget by knowing the needs of each and every department, it will allocate the budget, which makes sure that where there is a need, the budget is properly allocated. It supports cost control through monitoring of expenditure. It supports cost control. Okay, like we will wastage will be reduced. Spending money on unnecessary things will be controlled, cost control through monitoring of expenditure, because the budget people, the department people will be closely monitoring how much expenditure is going on. So if there is monitoring, definitely there will be control. So that is possible. Cost control is possible through budgeting. Budgeting aids in planning by providing a framework for future financial activities. This budgeting helps in planning by providing a for future, for the coming next year, how we have to plan our financial activities. Like that planning, it helps in planning. It promotes coordination among departments toward shared goals. Okay, so it helps in coordination. Like for example, every department in a hospital needs some advancement by buying the equipment or bringing new beds, adding new rooms to each department. But all the departments you cannot invest in 1 year. Okay, so one department there will be some advancement, new equipment will be purchased, some other department new beds will be added. Like that, in coordination, what is most required, that there the budget allocation will take place. So it promotes coordination among departments towards shared goals. It helps in evaluation by comparing actual performance with targets. So budgeting helps in evaluation by comparing actual performance with the targets. With the target, what performance happened, comparison will be possible, that will be evaluated by budgeting. Budgeting assists in forecasting by predicting future income and expenses. 1 year if you observe, 2 years, like that if you observe continuously for 2 to 3 years, you will be able to predict the future. Okay, you can estimate the future expenses, income, how much income this hospital gets in a year, and how much is spent on the supplies for salaries of the staff and other, buying the ambulances, other vehicles or other expenditure. All that you will be able to forecast. That is, you will be able to predict how much fund is required to run a hospital. For all these purposes, budgeting is very important. Okay, allocating resources, cost control, planning, coordination, evaluation, accountability, and forecasting by predicting the future income. Next, coming to the features of budgeting. A budget should be, what features a budget should have? Okay, you call it a budget, a good budget for this hospital. What features it should have? Let's see. A budget should be simple. A budget should be very simple in design and easily understandable. Anybody, every department people, all the employees should be able to understand, because it should be in a simple language, understandable and easily understandable by everyone involved in budget. Budgeting is a systematic process that estimates income and expenditure over a period of time. It is quantitative, okay, expressed in monetary terms. You should be able to monitor the results, to measure resources and costs. So it should be in quantitative, in the numbers. Okay, if you explain in the numbers, like this much income, 3 lakhs of income this hospital gets every month. So for the year, how much it should be? Then for spending, like for the salaries of the staff, for buying new equipment, to provide healthcare services, for the ambulance, electricity bill, all that, how much expenditure goes, all that should be presented in a number, quantitative forms, so that easy to measure resources and the costs. Budgeting is continuous. It should be a continuous process. Okay, that is also one feature. Like 1 year you plan the budget, next 2-3 years you forget planning, just to keep on spending like that. It should not be like that. It should be a continuous process. Regularly the budget should be updated and reviewed to reflect the changes, to know the changes, how much expenditure is happening. For that, it should be always updated and reviewed frequently and make any changes. It should be flexible. It is flexible, allowing modification as priorities or need change. Once the budget is planned, in between there may be some changes. Okay, there may be need to make changes. So the budget should be flexible. Whenever required, you need to make changes. For example, we got a COVID. All of a sudden, COVID everyone got affected with COVID. Hospitals needed lot of supply of oxygen cylinders, so many beds, isolated wards, all that is required. If the budget is flexible, you can stop the money which you kept for buying some other equipment, some CT scan machine or something. You take that budget and allot it to buying the oxygen cylinders required for that. Okay, like that, if it is flexible, this kind of changes will be possible. Okay, so that for that reason, flexibility is very important. And budget involves all departments connecting different activities under one financial plan. So this budget, it involves all the departments. For example, in a hospital, pharmacy, diagnostic services, and intensive care unit, each and every department, general medicine, pediatric, obstetrics department, neurology, psychiatry, all departments should be connecting with different activities under one financial plan. It provides ways to monitor spending. Okay, so budget should monitor spending, how much a hospital is spending on what, helping prevent misuse of funds. This planning will help misuse of funds. Okay, so it is a group involved budget is everyone is involved in it, so misuse of funds can be prevented. Budgeting is forward looking. Okay, future. Okay, you can predict the future, focusing on future needs rather than only past expenditure. Instead of only reading the previous expenditures, you can have a forward looking. You can think of the future, focus on the future needs. Okay, these are the features of budgeting. Next, characteristics of a budget. Mostly these are similar to the features. What characteristics a budget should have? A good budget should have. A good budget should be simple and easy to understand by all the staff members. It must be flexible, as we discussed just now, flexible so that you can make any changes, allowing adjustment as needs and priorities change. It should be realistic. Okay, it should be realistic. You should be able to follow it. If it is very unrealistic, very difficult to follow, waste of spending time on planning the budget based on accurate estimates of income and expenditure. A good budget is comprehensive, covering all departments and activities. Okay, equally all departments should be given importance in the budget. So a good budget is comprehensive. It should be time bound, specifying the period for which it is prepared, for 6 months, 1 year or 2 years. So time bound is very important. It must be clear in objectives, showing what it aims to achieve. Budget should be clear. The objectives of budget preparation should be clear so that at the end of the year you can check whether those aims are achieved or not at the end of the budget year. A good budget should allow monitoring and control. You should be able to monitor how much income we got, how much we have spent. So that monitoring is very important, and control also should be there so that no wastage will be done. Misuse, helping track spending and prevent misuse. You can prevent misuse. It should be forward looking. Okay, future, focusing on future needs rather than just past expenses. These are characteristics. Then next topic is principles of budgeting. Very important question for exam point of view. Just principles also you may get as a short notes. Okay. So coming to the principles of budgeting, there are 10 principles of budgeting. First one is principle of comprehensiveness. Budgeting should provide sound financial management by addressing all organizational requirements. The budget which we are planning, it should provide a sound financial management by all organizational requirements has to be included, and the finance is planned in the budget. It should be objective and policy oriented. That budget should have objectives and policy according to policies that has to be prepared, covering all expected income and expenditure. Every department has to be given priority and covering all expected income and expenditure. That is principle of comprehensiveness. Next, principle of flexibility. As we already discussed, a good budget should be flexible. Very important principle. Principle of flexibility. A budget should allow adjustment to accommodate changes in circumstances, workload or priorities, ensuring that funds are used efficiently. For example, there is some epidemic or pandemic has come where number of patients are flooding to the hospital. and you will know that for the next 6 months the situation is going to be like this. So then what you will do, along with the beds, wards, facilities, you need more number of staff also to provide care to those increased number of beds and patients. So what you will do, you need to allot some fund budget to recruiting the new staff. Okay, that is also very important. Recruiting new nursing staff, technicians, like that you should have some budget ready so that you can use for recruiting new staff members to provide service to the patient. So like that, those changes you should be able to do. That is principle of flexibility. Principle of annularity. Budgeting is typically prepared annually. For 1 year budget is prepared and should include a review of the previous year's performance. It should also include review of previous year, how the previous year budget is there, what is lacking in that, any mistakes, any losses. Keeping in that mind, for the next year budget will be planned. This evaluates the adequacy of both quantity and quality of resources allocated. This will help for increasing both the quantity and quality of the resources allocated. That is principle of annularity, planning it for 1 year, annual. Principle of appropriateness. Budget should be appropriate. Budget period must align with the nature of the service or organization. What type of services an organization provides. Depending upon the nature of services, the budget period has to be decided. The type and the duration of the budget should suit the activities being planned. If you are planning for 1 year, in that what activities you can able to perform, for that only planning has to be done. Do not choose long term things in 1 year plans. That is principle of appropriateness. The principle of universality. The budget should be prepared and interpreted consistently across all departments. All departments you have to interpret, communicate the budget, ensuring uniformity so that all departments will have an same idea about the that hospital budget in the planning and implementation process. If one department we have communicated, other department don't know what is there in the budget planning, they start using the funds for other purposes. Okay, so implementation will be affected. That's why universality, everyone should be interpreted, the all departments should be interpreted about the budget. That is principle of universality. Then principle of specificity. Specific. Funds should be allocated to identifiable objects or programs with all long-term and short-term expenses planned in advance for clarity and accountability. To have clarity and accountability, long-term and also short-term expenses are planned in advance. For the next year, what long-term plans and short-term goals, all that clearly planned for the next year. Okay, that is specificity. Principle of exclusiveness. Okay, that is budgeting focuses only on financial aspects. Care must be taken to set realistic targets. You should be careful that realistic targets should be set, and while planning itself, which you can achieve in 1 year, that type of targets only you have to set. There will be some plans which take 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, you do not know. That kind of things should not be included in this. Okay, only realistic targets which you can achieve in 1 year, those should be included. Others, avoid the overestimation or underestimation of the services. That is exclusiveness. Exclude the targets which you cannot achieve. That is the principle of exclusiveness. Next one is principle of delegation. Okay, principle of delegation. Budgeting requires a delegation of responsibility. That is dividing the responsibilities to each one. Delegating the responsible duties must be assigned to managers at various levels for framing. Okay, this is the managers should be given responsibility at different levels for framing, executing and monitoring the budget effectively. Okay, managers play a very important role to monitor the budget. Then principle of coordination. Efforts of different departments must be coordinated to provide a common framework for managerial decisions and a basis for evaluating performance. we have to make efforts, okay, to bring coordination. Different departments all should work a coordinated way to provide a common framework for managerial decisions. This budget related decisions, you have to involve all departments so that everyone will work in coordination and they will support the decision of the managers also, okay. That is principle of coordination. Then principle of accountability. Accountability means taking responsibility of one's actions, our own actions. Managers are responsible for using resources as planned in the budget. They must ensure effective utilization. The managers who are taking responsibilities, they should effectively utilize both financial and non-financial resources, and they only should be held accountable. Okay, they have to answer if any loss occurs. Managers only feel accountable, they have to answer for the losses. These are the 10 very important principles of budgeting. Principle of comprehensiveness, principle of flexibility, principle of annularity, principle of appropriateness, principle of universality, specificity, exclusiveness, delegation, coordination, and accountability. These are the 10 principles of budgeting. Next one is types of budget. Types of budget we will see. Types of budget, there are many types of budget classified based on different criteria by fiscal managers. Managers have divided budgets into various types. One of the most common classification is based on fiscal and non-fiscal budget. Okay, first point is based on fiscal and non-fiscal budgets. This budget is divided. Coming first, we will see the fiscal. Okay, that is financial budget. A fiscal or financial budget deals with income, how much income a hospital is getting, and expenditure, how much we are spending, expressed in monetary terms. It helps in planning and controlling financial resources of an organization. Under fiscal budget, the types include capital expenditure budget. Okay, first type is capital expenditure budget. It covers major investments such as land. Okay, capital. Okay, what the hospital is spending on land, buying a new land for the building, construction of the building, and costly equipment with long term use. If we are spending lot of money buying a CT scan machine, for example, it should work for a long period, like at least 5 to 10 years. That CT scan machine should work. That's why the whatever you are spending, you will be able to earn from that new machine. These reduce flexibility in budgeting. So that is capital expenditure budget, covers major investments such as land, buildings, and costly equipment. Another type in fiscal budget is operating budget. It provides an overview of agency functions for the upcoming year, what it is going to do, that hospital is going to do for the next year, upcoming year, including cost of supplies. If you take hospital, as I told you, supplies means what all required to provide care to the patients. It starts with when the patient enters into the hospital, writing an OPD name, file, okay, filing papers for monitoring vital signs, equipment required for vitals monitoring, for writing reports, books, registers, for doctors, stethoscopes, everything, cotton to do the dressing, all the nursing related supplies, cotton, gauze, injections, syringes, and rails, tubes, everything, BP apparatus, thermometers, all that comes under the supplies. Cost of supplies, minor repairs. If any equipment is not working, BP apparatus, weighing machines, other machines, X-ray machines, if they are not working, sending them for the repairs. And overheads, all these operating budget, any equipment, supplies which are we use to provide care. Okay, so that is operating budget. Zero based budgeting. It starts from zero. All expenses must be justified based on expectations or goals for the upcoming year. For the upcoming year, whatever expenses you are planning, those should be justified. Justification should be there. Answer for each and every rupee which you are spending for or planning to spend for the next upcoming year. That is zero based budgeting. Starts from zero. Program budget. prepared specifically for a project or a program. For a particular program or a project to run in that hospital, that budget will be planned, detailing all expenses and revenues related to it. Okay, like for example, if you are starting nowadays, government has started giving HPV vaccine for all the girls to prevent cervical cancer. Okay, so like that, any new project you are starting for next 6 months, this hospital HPV vaccine will be given free of cost supply from the government. Okay, so that is one project. What all expenses required for it, that is planned. That is program budget. Performance budget, it focuses on functions. Example, direct nursing care, supervision. For supervision, you need managers or supervisors. Recruiting those supervision staff. Nursing care, recruiting the nurses, or audits, and auditors should be there. Okay, CA certified auditors, and in-service education. Okay, for the staff who are working in that hospital, to provide in-service education, you need to have educators, you need to recruit them. Okay, so that is performance budget, recruiting the new staff to conduct these type of programs, in-service education, like that. Give allotting budget. Revenue and expense budget, it shows projected profit and loss under classified headings. This revenue and expense, how much income we got, how much we have spent. It shows profit and loss, how much profit we got this year and loss under classified headings. If you see the types in fiscal budget, capital expenditure budget, operating budget, zero based budget, program budget, performance budget, revenue expense budget. Okay, loss under classified headings is similar to a pro forma income statement. These come under fiscal budgeting. Next, second type is non-physical budget. A non-physical budget deals with resources and activities in quantitative terms. Number, okay, in a number, quantitative terms, resources and activities are dealt in this non-physical, non-financial budget. Okay, rather than monetary terms. It is later translated into financial terms for practical use. Types under this non-financial budget include direct labor or personal budget. That means labor means staff who has to provide services, work in that hospital, covers wages, or the salaries, monthly salaries, or any daily wage employees are there. So for them, daily wages and salaries of staff in terms of hours, by calculating the hours or manpower requirements. Any new staff you are recruiting for them. Okay, so that come under this direct labor or personal budget. Time, space, material and production budget. Okay, that means expressed in units such as direct labor hours, machine hours, how much time that machine is working, or materials used. Okay, for example, a very simple example, we know JCB machines. Okay, to do any construction work we use JCBs. So if you want to hire a JCB for 1 hour, 1500, 2000 people they charge. So that type of machine hours. Okay, how much you are spending for what kind of work it is, machine hours, how much time that machine you need in a day or for how many days, like that. Oh, that is given in this. Okay, labor hours, machine hours and materials used. The rupee cost is calculated separately as it may not accurately reflect the resources or results. These two come under the non-fiscal, that is non-financial budget. They are direct labor, personal budget, time, space, material and production budget. These are based upon the types of budget. These are based upon the fiscal and non-fiscal budget. Next, second type is based on a period of coverage. Based upon the period of coverage, the types of budgets are annual budget. As you know, annual for 1 year. It covers income and expenditure for a one financial year. Okay, fiscal year. Long term budget, it extends over multiple years, usually 5 years for strategic planning. Okay, any long term goals you need to achieve, for that long term planning, usually it will be for 5 years. Long term budget. Current budget, a temporary or adjusted plan for the current fiscal year, the present running year, running financial year. For that, if you plan for a temporary use, that is called as current budget. Rollover budget, Forecast programs revenue and expenses for periods longer than a year. More than 1 year if you are starting any program in future, forecasting future programs for that revenue and expenses, that is called a rollover budget. These types of budgets are based upon the period of coverage. According to period also the name is given for the budget. Then third one is other types of budget. They are fixed budget. Components remain unchanged regardless of changes in activity levels. Once the components are fixed, every year same for the same activities they allot a budget. Okay, that is fixed. Flexible budget adjusts according to changes in the activity or units of service. According to the service which that organization is providing, according to that it will be flexible. Changes can be made. That's why it is called flexible. Open-ended budget. Managers present cost estimates without specifying adjustments if funding is reduced. So managers present cost estimates without specifying the adjustments. What adjustment they made without specifying that cost estimation will be done by the managers. Okay. If the funding is less, they make adjustment. That is open-ended budget. Master budget. A master budget combines all departmental budgets into a single comprehensive financial plan. All the departments in one organization together, one budget is prepared, that is master budget plan, detailing income from all the departments, expenses, overheads and projections for a specific period, integrating operating and financial budgets for effective resource management on organizational control. This will be effective for organizational control. The whole organization will be under the control of this master budget. So these are the different types of budget according to the types of budget: fixed budget, flexible, open-ended and master budget. So these are the different types of budget. Three types we have seen. First one is based on fiscal and non-fiscal. Second one based upon the period of coverage. Third one is other types of budgets. This is about types of budgets. Next topic is budget proposal. How you have to, or the process, budgeting process. You may get question as a process of budgeting or budget proposal. How do you prepare a budget for an organization? You need to mention the budget proposal. A budget proposal is a formal plan. Okay, it is a formal plan presented by an organization or department outlining its expected income. This is a formal plan. Budget proposal is a plan which is presented by any organization or each department. What they write in that plan: expected income and expenditure for a specific period, usually a fiscal year, one financial year. That is called as budget proposal. It serves as a blueprint. Okay, budget proposal serves as a blueprint for allocating financial resources. How much money you are allocating to each department, to various programs, projects, activities in line with organizational objectives. In healthcare and nursing services, budget proposal ensures that funds are effectively planned. In a health department and nursing, budget proposal makes sure that it is effectively planned, justified and allocated to maintain smooth functioning of departments and to provide quality patient care. For this purpose, budget proposal, budget planning is very important in health and nursing. Purposes of a budget proposal. The primary purpose of a budget proposal is, why we have to prepare a budget proposal. Purposes are forecast. We already know for the next coming financial year, you need to plan for future. Forecast financial needs for planned activities, programs and projects. Justify expenditure to higher authorities or funding bodies. Why you are asking for the funds for specific things or programs? You to give reasoning, justify, to give answer the questions from higher authorities. Allocate resources efficiently based on priorities. Efficiently, if you want to allot the funding for the basic priority things, you need to have budget proposal. And ensure alignment with organizational goals, mission and policies. Make sure that budget is according to the goals of the organization, mission and policies. Provide a reference for monitoring and evaluate. At the end of the year, to monitor how much income you got, how much expenditure, there should be a plan at the beginning. For that plan you need to have some reference. Okay, so it works as a reference for planning and evaluating the financial performance. These are the purposes of budget proposal. Next, components of a budget proposal. What components you need to include in a budget proposal? A typical budget proposal includes, first one is introduction or summary, executive summary, a brief overview of the organization, about that organization, introduction, its objectives and purposes of budget, why you are planning budget for that organization. A brief introduction is necessary. Projected income or revenue, expecting funding, grants or other sources of income for that hospital or any organization. What funding you are expecting from the government or any non-governmental organization, any funding you are expecting, any grants from government or other sources of income. Or projected expenditure, detailed plan of how funds will be spent, including personnel, how you are spending, including personnel, supplies, equipment and administrative costs. Then justification, explanation of why each allocation is necessary and how it contributes to organizational objectives. How it will contribute to organizational objectives, that justification should be there. Evaluation and monitoring plan. At the end of the year, how you are evaluating and monitoring. Methods to track expenditure, how you are monitoring expenditure, that methods measure outcomes and ensure accountability, taking the responsibility for the expenditure. All these components should be included in the budget proposal. Introduction, projected income, projected expenditure, justification, evaluation and monitoring plan. These are the components of a budget proposal. Next topic is steps in preparing a budget proposal. There are 6 steps. First one, assess the needs. Before, usually what we do in nursing, before providing care to the patient, first step in the nursing process is assessment. Same way, first assess the needs of the organization. Identify requirements of each department or the program. Estimate cost. After identifying requirements, estimate the cost. Calculate expected expenses for personnel, supplies, equipment and operations. Then prioritize activities. You need to prioritize which is more important. Determine which programs or services require immediate funding based on organizational goals. For example, a nursing college is there where there is no proper setup for a library. Priority is constructing a room for the big hall for library. In that, what supplies are required for a library? What we need? We need infrastructure inside, cupboards with books, good supply of books, one librarian, staff and one attender for the library, and tables, chairs to accommodate the students, cupboards to organize the books, computer systems, internet connection and a present seminar room. Like that, all the supplies required for that, everything will be supplies will be taken into account. So prioritize each one, you have to prioritize which is most important, prioritize and plan. Draft proposal, prepare a clear and structured document with all components. Okay, that is drafting. With all the components which you have assessed, you need to prepare the proposal. Structured document you need to prepare. Review and approval, submit the proposal to the management, higher management or funding authority who is giving funds for them. To them you have to put the proposal for approval and implementing, and after the approval from the higher management, implement that plan and monitor it. Allocate funds according to the approved proposal and track the expenditure. Then you have to track the whole year whether you are according to the budget plan you are spending or not. All these are the steps in preparing budget proposal. Next, importance in a nursing service. Why in nursing this budgeting is very important. In nursing and healthcare, a budget proposal ensures that critical services are funded. Important, critical services are funded in healthcare. For that, staff salaries, paying the salaries in time is very important for any organization. If you don't pay salaries, in time after working for 1 month, the staff may stop working or coming to the duty. So salary staffs are given priority. These are managed. Equipment and supplies, all equipment in working condition and supplies like cotton, gauze, syringes, drugs are available or not, and patient care is not compromised. Nowhere you need to compromise in the patient care. Okay, because the BP machine is not working, so there is no blood pressure monitoring. The patient care will be affected with that kind of things. So that kind of compromise should not happen. It also provides a framework for cost containment, accountability, and strategic planning. So this provides framework for cost containment, accountability, responsibility, and strategy wise planning is possible. Okay. Advantages of budgeting in nursing. It provides financial control and efficient use of resources, promotes accountability among managers and staff, and managers also will feel accountability, that is responsible for what they are spending. Helps in planning and prioritizing activities. If you involve staff and managers in budget plan, they will know how difficult it is to spend money and get income. That's why if they have no knowledge, then especially nursing staff, they start wasting, taking lot of cotton just for simple procedure like injection. They take 2-3 cotton balls, they just throw it in the dustbin after use. Instead of that, if you are accountable, you will use only the number of cotton balls which are exactly required for that procedure. That kind of accountability will be there with budgeting. Helps in planning and prioritizing activities, facilitates decision making and goal achievement, enables cost containment and reduces wastage. Okay, this will help in following the cost containment and wastage will be reduced. After advantages, disadvantages of budgeting. What are the disadvantages? It can be time consuming. Budgeting every year, planning the budget is time consuming and require detailed data you need to have, may reduce flexibility. If it is too rigid, flexibility will not be possible. It can overemphasize financial targets over quality or outcome. If we start concentrating more on the budget planning, overemphasis is given on financial targets, so quality outcome will be reduced. Requires skilled personnel. Okay, for the planning the budget, you need to have experienced or experts, skilled personnel to prepare and monitor the budget. It may not account for unexpected emergencies or changes. Okay, you may not account for unexpected emergencies or changes. You cannot make. These are the disadvantages of budgeting. Okay, so this is about budgeting purposes, features, characteristics, what a good budget should be, and the types of budgets, and a budget proposal. Okay, how the budget proposal has to be made. Okay, so this is about budgeting in nursing management. Next, another topic is cost benefit analysis. So what is this cost benefit analysis? Cost benefit analysis is helpful. Cost benefit analysis CBA helps evaluate whether a proposed system, project or investment, okay, whatever you have proposed, a system, project or investment provides value to the organization and society. Whether the project which you have started, whether it gives value to the organization and society or not, whether it is useful or not, this will be known by cost benefit analysis, by analyzing the cost and what benefit you are getting from that project. Okay, that is called as cost benefit analysis. CBA is primarily used by governments. Usually it is used by governments and organizations to make social, economic and financial decisions. As HPV vaccine program. For that, government, before starting that program, government might have done cost benefit analysis. How much cost it takes to vaccinate all the girls in the school going girls in the whole country, what benefit we are going to get, prevention of cervical cancer. So that analysis is done by the government. Okay, so it measures both tangible and intangible costs and benefits of adapting a particular course of action. It measures both tangible and intangible costs, such as constructing a dam. Okay, constructing a dam. It measures such as constructing a dam. If we want to construct a dam between for like a reservoir or building a bypass road, or implementing an information system, like you want to introduce a computerized system in the hospital. For that, how much cost you need, and whether you will get profit or not, benefit is there or not with that new technology. All that assessment will be done by cost benefit analysis. It is particularly useful in areas where market prices do not exist or cannot fully capture social and environmental impacts. It is particularly useful in areas where market prices do not exist or cannot fully capture social and environmental impacts. In these places, this CBA is very helpful. Coming to the definition of cost benefit analysis, it is defined as a method of evaluating the project or program by comparing all the cost. It is a method of evaluating a project or program. You can, before starting a project or program, you can evaluate by comparing with all the cost involved, how much you have to spend for that program, with the anticipated what benefit you will get by spending money on that, to determine its feasibility or value. So to find out its value, that program value, you have to do this. This method is called as cost benefit analysis. Purposes of CBA. CBA addresses questions like, is the project financially worthwhile? The purpose, mainly the project which you are going to start, whether it is financially worthy, that you will come to know. Is it the best alternative among other options? Is this project a good option among all other options? It should be undertaken at all or not? All these you will come to know by cost benefit analysis. Okay, so these are the purposes. Then process of a cost benefit analysis. It involves three key steps. Identification of cost and benefit. List all costs and benefits related to the project, task, or system. Evaluation of cost and benefit. Identify and evaluate. Assess a tangible, that is example hardware cost. What hardware required to conduct that program. Intangible, that is improved decision making aspects such as well as fixed, variable, direct and indirect elements. All that involved, you have to evaluate the cost and benefits. Choice of system. Select the alternative with the lowest cost and highest benefits. With this, any other alternatives you have, that also you have to need to keep ready. That is choice of system. These three steps are there in process of CBA. Three key steps: identification, evaluation, and choice of system. So there is an example. Okay, for better understanding, a hospital wants to build a special care room. Okay, special room for providing care for particular disease patients. That construction of that special care room cost 10 lakhs to build and 2 lakhs per year to run. Okay, along with construction, for construction it takes 10 lakhs. Every year 2 lakhs you have to spend to run that special room. Okay, the hospital charges 5,000 per day for any patient admitted into that ward. That special room, 5,000 it will charge. Room is used for 300 days of the year. Okay, so this makes in that year 15 lakhs income it will make. If you construct room with 12 lakhs, charge 5,000 per day, 15 lakhs income you will get per year. After paying the cost, the hospital earns 3 lakhs. Okay, so 10 lakhs you are spending, 2 lakhs for to run. Other than that, if you minus that, 3 lakhs extra the hospital will get the income. This means the room is a good investment for the hospital. So you can calculate as rupees net profit, total income minus total cost divided by 50, that is 15 lakhs minus 10 lakhs is equal to 3 lakhs. Okay, 2 lakhs you are spending for running that room. Particular amount, okay, construction charge, expected income per year is 15 lakhs. Net profit is 3 lakh per year the hospital is getting. Like that, every hospital or organization, anywhere, if you are starting any new department, they will do the cost benefit analysis before starting that. If you start anything like that, new department or X-ray machine if you buy, or CT scan machine if you are buying, per year how many patients you are expecting. For buying the CT scan machine, how much you have to spend to maintain that, for repairs, for electricity bill or sheets, CT scan sheets, for that how much you have to spend, whether that more than that you will get income or not. Like that calculation has to be done. So this is an example to understand cost benefit analysis. Okay, this is very important topic. Cost benefit analysis you may get as a short notes also. Okay, or you may get as a small 2 marks question, so that just write the definition and a few points about it. Okay, cost benefit analysis. Okay, with this we have completed the topic of budgeting. Any queries, please comment in the comment section, like, share and subscribe to my channel.